because I want all of you to win here. And the level of certainty that I have is that I know all of you can win. I know every single one of you can win. And you may have excuses, but there's someone else who had the same excuses that you have and worse, and they've won in life, and they've won in network marketing. They've created a full-time income. They've created financial freedom. They've blessed many others. And so I want to have hopefully a clean slate here. And first off, just say, number one, I believe in you, right? I know you can do this. And if you've never had anyone just tell you, I believe in you, I believe in you. And it may sound weird because I don't know you, but I don't have to know you to believe in you because I believe in the human spirit and I believe in God. And we'll talk more about that later. But that's the first thing I really wanted to say is number one, you can do this and I believe in you. And the question, one of the most important questions, and without answering this question, people suffer in life. And you may have heard me talk about the land of mediocrity and the land of victory. There's two different places you can live. Most people live in the land of mediocrity. This is the land of the common man. This is the land where you just get by in life. This is the land where you struggle. The land of mediocrity is where you spend your whole life watching other people do big things in the land of victory, and you're a watcher. And so this is the land of mediocrity, and none of us have to live in this land, but most choose to live there. The majority of people choose to live there, and they don't have to. And so today I want to hopefully wake you up to the possibility and the certainty that you can live in the land of victory. And I misspoke. Instead of saying possibility, I should have said certainty. I want you to get how certain living in victory really is. And it was so hard for me to understand because I grew up in living with a single mom, like a single mom working multiple jobs to work her way through college to support me. And ultimately, she worked her way through law school, became an attorney, became a judge, retired as a judge. My mom is my hero. But when I was a kid, my father murdered, after they divorced, my father murdered her boyfriend. My father went to prison. We lived on welfare, right? Food stamps. And, there's many of you who grew up in much worse poverty than I grew up in. But I didn't have an influence that was like a multimillionaire. I had never heard of personal development. I didn't have anyone coaching me. I went to school just like everyone else. And my father committed suicide when I was 13 years old. And, it was just, we moved around all the time. And, it was growing up without a lot of money. You have a desire for money, but you don't really feel like you're worthy of any money. Because my belief was that money's really hard to come by, right? Super hard to come by. And so when I got in college and someone showed me network marketing, I got excited because I saw a way to make money. They gave me a book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. In fact, I've got it right here. This is the first personal development book I ever read, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And in this book, it talks about the secret of success. And it tells all these stories about people who went through massive struggles before they wound up in the land of victory, right? But it was a struggle for me. Even though I read this book, it took a long time. I went year after year after year after year, struggling, 5, 6 years before I got to a full-time income. And what I'm going to talk to you today about are the things that allowed me to go from 5 years of struggle to massive success. And when I say massive success, some of you know the story. I mean, I've made over $20 million in network marketing. And today you could put me in front of any network marketer in the world, any network marketing company in the world, put me on stage, put me on a panel. And I genuinely know in my heart, I'm one of the best in the world, like one of the best in the world. And so how did I get there? Right? Because it's not a natural ability. I don't want you to look up to me. Don't look. The last thing I want you to do today is look up to me, right? Because Wayne Nugent, I looked up to him years ago, and I put him on a pedestal. I don't want you to put me on a pedestal. And I'm going to talk more about that. But one of the most important questions that I want you to ask yourself, and I want you to write this down, is Who are you? Or who am I? Right? So write this down. Who am I? Okay? So I want you to write that down for yourself. Who are you? And for most people, if I ask them, who are you? They're going to say, oh, I'm an accountant. I'm a carpenter. They're going to say their job. That's who they are. But they've never taken any time in their life to actually create who they are. And so I want to go kind of foundational here, right? And have you consider something? And these are things that I'm not saying are absolutely certain, but the things I'm going to ask you to consider today are some of the truths of life that radically altered my life, that changed me completely. And so who you are, consider that who you are is only what you've created. Who you are is only what you've created. And if you've never taken the time to really figure out and create who you are, you haven't yet created anything. So you live by default rather than intention. Most people live their entire life by default rather than intention. And it's no surprise they live in the land of the common man. They lived in the land of mediocrity. Right? Why? Because they've never created anything powerful. So here's the thing I want you to consider is you are what you've created. And what's happened is however old you are, if you're 48 like me, you have lots of evidence as to who you are. And maybe you are shy. Maybe you are not a powerful business person. Maybe you have some good things like you're a great mom or a great dad and like hold on to those. But most people haven't ever really taken any time to create anything powerful and they don't really live a life of intention. So most people live their life like a ping pong ball in the ocean. They just float around. Their entire life, they're a ping pong ball in the ocean. They're just floating around. They're never getting anywhere. They don't achieve their goals. Why? Because they have a life without intention. And a life without intention leads to what? Mediocrity. I'm going to say it again. You can write this down. A life without intention leads to mediocrity. So what do we do about it? Well, step one is to create something powerful. If you are everything that you've created, then you get to create something different. And so it's not like we're stuck being who we are. When I grew up, I was an incredibly shy kid, very shy. I would hide behind my mother. I still remember being like 6 years old, hiding behind my mom when we would meet people new. That was the common thing that I did. I'd hide behind her legs. Today, am I shy? Not at all. I'm not shy. Right? That's kind of who I was. And I could continue to recreate that as an adult and say, oh, I'm shy, I'm not an outgoing person, or I could be intentional with who I decide to be and create something different. And so today I'm pretty outgoing, right? Maybe my nature is a little bit introverted, but it's easy for me to be outgoing. Why? Because I've created that. I didn't just say, oh, that's what I am. I'm going to hold on to that. Even though it doesn't empower me, I'm going to hold on to that. So ask yourself, what are you holding on to about yourself that you're holding on to for no other reason than you just think that's who you are? Okay. So I have a spiritual belief, and some of you probably share this spiritual belief, and you believe that God is all powerful, right? And you believe that God created the world, God created the universe, He created the planets, He created literally everything. He created everything, and if we believe that we were created in God's image, wouldn't you think that He created us to be all powerful? And think about what man has done. Like, we are the only species that has actually created, right? I mean, you don't have dolphins or monkeys or any other animals that have created vehicles or planes or electricity or AI. And you think about all the amazing things that have been created. It's fascinating. And so I just come from a belief that if God is all powerful, if I stand on that spiritual belief that God creates everything and we're created in His image, then he creates us as being all powerful, rather than being some static person who's stuck being whatever they believe they are. And most people don't really step into this level of power. And see, what I'm talking about is power. Like, what are the keys to power today? I'm going to hopefully unlock some of those keys to power for you. And when I say power, I don't mean a dictatorial power. I'm not talking about power over anyone else. I'm not an oppressive power. I'm talking about personal power, taking control of your own circumstances, taking control of your own life. And we all have it. Some of you have maybe denied it, but we all have the power to totally change our circumstance. There's not a single person on here that doesn't have the power to go black diamond in Viago. I refuse to admit it. I refuse to admit it. Why? Because of my spiritual belief. I refuse to believe that any of you were created not outside of the image of God. I refuse to believe it. So I believe you all have that potential. And it helps me be a more powerful leader because I believe in people so much. And I also believe in myself so much. And so, there's a thing called ego, right? Ego, we've all heard things like ego is not your amigo, right? And there's a negative ego, but there's a positive ego. The negative ego is believing I'm better than everyone else, right? And that's a negative ego. You're going to suffer in life if you have that negative ego, if somehow you're just better than everyone else. No, see, I don't think I'm better than everyone else, but I believe I am great. I believe I'm the most powerful network marketer in the world. I believe that God instilled me with greatness. I believe that I was born a champion. See, I believe all that about you too. I just wish you would believe it. So I'm going to encourage you to consider adopting a more powerful belief in yourself through a powerful belief in God. And if you're standing on this belief that who am I to be so powerful, that's like saying who is God to be all powerful. It should be an offense to you. You should be offended if you think you're not powerful. So these are just the things that I believe. And I'm not saying they're true. I'm saying, consider it. I'm saying they're true for me. This is the thing that allows me to step into power, right? So who are you, right? And take some time to create that. So over the years, and I've been doing this now for 25, 26 years, when I finally understood these concepts about 26 years ago, and I understood, wow, I am who I create, so I get to create something powerful, I started changing things, right? And so, and I get to change all the time. Like, how many of you have children? If you have children, you watch your children and they change. Every couple years, they're like a different kid, right? They have different interests in many cases, right? Every few years, totally different. But then humans, as we, become older, we're an adult, suddenly we stay the same. Every single year, we're the same person. See, what I'm committed to do is always developing, always changing. And so I get to decide who I am. Well, I'm a recruiting savage. I get to decide I'm a savage when it comes to recruiting. I get to decide I'm the kind of person who's overjoyed with happiness. Why am I so happy? People see me, they're always commenting, man, you smile all the time. Why do I smile all the time? Because I've decided I'm overjoyed with happiness. And these are part of, what I've created. I create an affirmation and I say, this is what I get to be. I'm going to stand in it. I'm going to repeat this to myself and I'm going to program myself to be this person. See, we are who we create. How do we create something? Well, we program ourselves. Just like you program a computer, you have to program your mind, right? You have to brainwash yourself, because if you're not brainwashing your own mind, you're letting the media brainwash you. You're letting your friends, your family brainwash you. You're letting the government brainwash you. Like, oh, you should be, X, Y, Z. No, I get to decide who I'm going to be and how I'm going to be, right? And so I get to create it. What else am I? Well, my energy is powerful, authentic, and contagious, and people feel it in their heart. That's who I decide that I am. Right? I'm the leader that every other leader in network marketing wishes they could work with. That's who I decide to be, right? And I get to stand in that. And every time I say it to myself as if it were true, it becomes more true. Understand this: whatever you say about yourself makes it more true. So if you're saying the things that I used to say in my life, like, oh, I'm an idiot, I would become more of an idiot. Every time I said I'm an idiot, I became more of an idiot. Every time you say I'm so poor, you become more poor mentally. See, your external world is a reflection of your internal world. I'm going to say that again, write it down. Your external world is a reflection of your internal world. And if you have scarcity in your external world, that's a reflection of the scarcity in your internal world. So why I'm able to manifest abundance externally is because I have manifested abundance internally first. I was a millionaire mentally before I ever had $1 million. Let me say that again. I was a millionaire in my mind before I ever actually had $1 million. I created that. I said thousands upon thousands of times, I'm a multimillionaire before I had ever had $1 million. I'm not saying to say it to anyone else. I'm saying that you say it to yourself. You program your mind that way. So I feel the power of God within me. That's who I am, right? Whenever I'm doing a training, or I'm doing a presentation, or I'm on stage in front of thousands of people, I don't get nervous anymore. I sometimes will stress myself out because I want to deliver and I want to make sure I hit all the points, but I don't get nervous anymore. Why? Because I feel the power of God within me. It's not just me on stage, it's God flowing through me on stage. And the same is true for all of you, right? But have you manifested that? Have you created that internal state within yourself? Well, how do you do it? You're intentional. You create who you are. What else? I absolutely love working and producing. It's my form of art and a source of joy. And because of that, I have more endurance than any normal human. I feel totally confident, vibrant, and filled with energy, right? These are the affirmations that I'm saying today. And they've changed over the years, right? Every year they're different. I change them all the time. Every few months, they'll be like, I'll be like, I don't feel like I need to say this one. I'm really owning it right now. And so I'm going to add another one. But I'm always programming myself, because if I'm not programming myself and brainwashing myself, I'm allowing the external world to program me. And here's the biggest challenge by far. If you want to know why people don't succeed in Viago, this is it. Because they believe that I'm not enough. It's the number one thing that holds us back in everything, is we don't believe we're enough. Okay? And this was me for 5 years. I just didn't believe I was enough because I grew up being shy. I didn't have a lot of friends. I wasn't Mr. Popular. And I didn't make good grades. I finished in the bottom half of the class. And so I didn't think I was very intelligent. And who I was just not enough to step up as a leader. Now, why does Helen step up as a powerful leader right now? You see her as being so powerful. Well, she got to a point, and I don't know when it was for her, but she got to a point where she believed she was enough to lead. And if I go through my career, there's been different levels. You know, when I first got into network marketing, I didn't believe I was enough to go sponsor people. When it came, and this is true not just in network marketing, it's true in life. Like when I was in college and high school, like I sat next to this girl in chemistry class, and I was in love with this girl. Her name was Christina. I was in love with Christina, and every day I wanted to ask her out on a date in the worst way, because she was beautiful and she was funny and she was smart and she was like everything I wanted. And I never asked her out. Why? Because I didn't believe I was enough. And that held me back for so long. And what if you could just decide that you were enough? And that's easier said than done. And I'm going to help you maybe get to the point where I did in network marketing, where I decided I was enough to be a powerful leader in network marketing. And the affirmations are there, but I understood that, and I was reading the affirmations, but there was something missing. And my mentor, Wayne, I think he saw I was putting him on a pedestal, and I was complimenting him one day, and I was like, dude, it's like everyone, everything, you know, like your closing rate, this, I don't remember. I was edifying him somehow, and I don't remember what I was saying, but he said, you know why I'm a good closer? Is because I'm confident. And I said, I'd be confident if I could speak like you. And he goes, no, you don't get it. I'm not confident because I'm a great speaker. I'm a great speaker because I'm confident. I had to be confident first. And he said, you are who you say you are until you prove otherwise. You are who you say you are until you prove otherwise. And that hit me for whatever reason. That one saying I never forgot. You are who you say you are until you prove otherwise. Someone write it in the chat. Okay. And and then he said something interesting. He said, Matt, I want you to read this book called The Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartz. And he said, I think it's on page 28, and there's a quote that said, it's good to observe the leader, learn from him, study him, but never worship him, because second best thinkers are invariably second best doers. And it hit me like a ton of bricks because I realized I was worshiping him. And I was thinking I was being a second best thinker. And because I was being a second best thinker, I was a second best doer. I wasn't taking action. Why? Because my thinking was second best. I could never be as good as him. And so I was always going to be secondary. And some of you may see Efrosini or Helen or Jesse or Muzaffar or some other leader and go, oh, I could never be as great as them. And that is such bullshit. It is a lie from the pits of hell. So here's what Wayne said to me. He said, I want you to learn from me, and I want you to learn from everyone else so that one day you're better than all of us. Are you up for the challenge? And I lied to him and I said, yes. Because as soon as he said that, immediately, because I was the second best thinker, I thought there's no way I could be as good as him. It was an impossibility in my mind. There was no way that could happen. But I agreed to, surrender to his coaching. And so I stayed in the question. It was like, how could I be as good as him? How could I be that good? And I had no idea. But I stayed in the question, and it took me a couple weeks, and then it finally hit me. I finally got how I could be as good as him. And I started looking at him and versus me. Now some of you know him, and he's a good-looking guy. He's super funny. He speaks on stage. People hang on every word he says. The time he drove an S-Class Mercedes, he had a platinum Rolex. He had like everything going for him. I mean, he was amazing on stage. He understood network marketing. He was like a walking personal development book. He walked around spouting out nuggets of wisdom everywhere he went. And how could I, being, never had any success? I failed in network marketing for 5 years. I drive a Honda Civic. It's been wrecked twice and I don't have the money to fix it. I live at home with my mom, like all of these things. Like there's no way I could ever be better than him. And that finally hit me. I finally got it. It was like, you know what? Do more people relate to him or do more people relate to me? Or do more people drive an average car? Or do more people drive an S-Class Mercedes? Do more people have a platinum Rolex, or do more people have whatever the cheapest watch is? Are more people good looking and funny like him, or more people more like me? Are more people God's gift to network marketing, or more people like me? Have more people succeeded immediately in network marketing like he did, or more people like me where they struggled? And I realized that I could relate to people on a level that he never could. Why? Because he was naturally super gifted when it came to network marketing. And I was not, and more people are like me. And all of a sudden, I realized that all my excuses that I had been holding on to for 5 years were all bullshit. All my excuses were actually my superpower. Right now, I want you to consider that all of those little things that you think have been holding you back, that's actually your superpower. That's actually what makes you really great in this business, because you can relate to people on a level that most people can't. See, there is only one person in the world that has your unique things. And when I say things, I mean your strengths and your weaknesses, right? The fact that let's say you're shy. Right? Well, if you can get over your shyness and go do it anyway, guess what? You get to inspire all the other people who are shy to go out and succeed. Maybe you've never had success in network marketing. Maybe you failed in network marketing before. Well, how many people have failed in network marketing? Probably tens of millions of people. So if you have success anyway, now you inspire all the people who struggled in network marketing, and you get to empower them and inspire them to go succeed. So everything, like, and I don't care what it is. Maybe you have a speech impediment. Maybe you don't speak very clearly. Maybe you're hard to understand. Well, you get to inspire all the people who aren't born with the gift of gab to go out and make it. There was a guy named Glenn W. Turner. The greatest speech I ever heard was Glenn W. Turner. He had a speech called Challenge to America that I don't know if it's even out there still, but he owned the biggest network marketing company in the world at the time, or no, number two, second to Amway at the time, in the late 60s. And he had a speech impediment and you couldn't even understand him, but he was so fired up. He was so excited. He got you excited. And you thought, man, if this guy who you can't even understand what the hell he's saying, if he can go be a millionaire, I can go be a millionaire. So whatever that thing that's holding you back, that's your superpower. And you may want to decide to live in the land of mediocrity and hold on to those as excuses. But as long as you hold on to excuses, that's what they'll always be. They're actually your strength. So your weaknesses are actually your strength. If like, and whatever it is, maybe you're not a salesperson, good. You get to inspire other people who aren't salespeople. So I'm telling you, those excuses, you can't hold on to those as excuses for any longer. It's your power. And this allowed me to finally lead. This allowed me to let loose my excitement. And I got to the point where I was making, a few $100s a week. And I'd say, hey, if I can make a few $100s a week, imagine what you can do in your 30s or 40s or 50s. And I'm in my 20s. And I got to 1,000 a week and then 2,000 a week. And it was like, hey, I lived at home with my mom before seeing this. I was a waiter at the steakhouse restaurant. And if I can get to 2,000 a week, imagine what you could do. And people would be like, yeah, you're right. And they'd join and they'd go work. Right? So I let all my excuses be my superpower. Now, what else is your superpower? I want you to pay attention to this. Here's the other thing that your superpower is. It's the ability to take ownership of your results before you know the path. Your superpower is your ability to take ownership of the results before you know the path. It's your ability to decide and commit to something before you know how to do it. Before you even know if you can do it. You just decide you're going to do it. It's when you cut off any other possibility than whatever you've committed to. So if it's diamond, cut off any other possibility than you going diamond. Whatever it takes, you're going diamond. Like that is your superpower, is to take ownership of that and certainty of that and create a different impossibility. So some of you have been in the place mentally of saying, it's impossible for me to go black diamond, or it's impossible for me to go diamond. Right? It's impossible for me to make that kind of money, right? Well, what if you just flipped it and you said, the only thing that's impossible for me is that would be impossible for me. The only thing that's impossible for me is that I would not get there. So change what you believe is possible. Make a different commitment, cut off any other possibility. And you do this all the time in your life anyway, right? Now, some of you have, if you're a parent, you're going to go pick your kids up from school. I do this just about every day, right? I make a commitment. I'm going to pick up my daughter from school. I don't know the path, right? I may not know where my keys are. I got to walk around my house and find my keys. I'm going to get to my car. I don't know. I got 2 or 3 different routes I can use to get to school, right? I don't know the exact path. I don't know where I'm going to park if I'm going to the grocery store. But I decide I'm going to the grocery store. I commit to that. I commit to picking up my kids, right? I don't say I'm going to go try to pick up my kids from school today. It would sound ridiculous to say I'm going to try to pick up my kids from school today. Why? Because you commit to doing it and you're going to do it. You don't say I'm going to try to go to the grocery store. Some of you are like waiting until you know the exact path. Like, I got to have this exact path. I got to know everything, right? The biggest disease in network marketing is paralysis of analysis. Right? I'm going to analyze everything and get all these scripts right and presentations right. How the back office works. I don't know how the back office works. All I know is I put people in and they go in, right? So we do this all the time, but we don't do it here where it's really important. Okay. It's kind of like if I were to call Jeff Bolf. Jeff Bolf lives up in Oklahoma, near Oklahoma City. And I was going to say, hey, Jeff, hey, man, I'm going to come visit you. And he goes, oh, when are you going to leave? And I'm going to say, well, whenever I can see the sign, to the Oklahoma border, I'll leave then. If I'm waiting for that, I'm never going to leave. No, I'm just going to go and I'm going to figure it out. And I commit to going to see him, right? Well, when am I going to go? Well, when I've mapped out the entire area, when I know exactly which turn I'm going to make in every case. Now we have a navigation and it'll reroute us. Like the route that you think it's going to take to go diamond, it's not the route that you think right now. It's going to change. It's going to change, but plans change and decisions don't. You make the decision first and then you go, right? The way most people operate with Viago, the way they'll operate is I'm going to go diamond if I don't run into an obstacle that's greater than me. I'll go diamond, but if I run into an obstacle that's bigger than me, then it's not going to happen, right? But I'm going to try. See, try means never. Try is a front-end excuse for failure. Try is the thing we say when we don't have any certainty. When we're like, all right, well, maybe if I don't run into enough obstacles, I'll do it. Well, what about maybe consider coming from a place that you're bigger right now. You are bigger than any excuse that might get in your way. You're bigger than that. Why? How are you worthy enough of being bigger than any excuse that gets in your way? Well, consider the fact that God made us all powerful. Consider that God gave us the resources to figure things out. And if someone else can figure it out, guess what? You have the ability to figure it out too. Yeah, but I'm shy. That's what makes you powerful. Yeah, but I've failed for 5 years in network marketing. That's what makes you powerful. You get to inspire all the other people who have failed, right? You get to step up and do something different. The only thing that is impossible for you is that this could be impossible for you. Try standing in that level of strength and power and certainty. And I'm not saying it's going to be easy. There are going to be a lot of challenges along the way. You're going to want to quit. You're going to not feel like doing it, but you stand on that commitment. Commitment is doing the thing that you said you were going to do long after the feeling you said it in was over. So you go do it anyway. And then the simple part is the business, right? And so we have invite, present, enroll, and train. Right? And these are the 4 things that we get to do. And that's what my mentor, I've been saying the same thing for 25 years because it's what my mentor taught me. It worked. And I've never really done much different. Okay. All I do is these few things. I invite people to see a presentation, right? Hey, I got an idea I want to share with you. When do you have 12 minutes? And I play a video for them, right? Hey, what are you doing right now? Nothing? Cool. I'm coming over. I'm going to pop by your place. What is it? I got an idea. Okay. And I go over, I go, hey, pull up your computer. And I show them a presentation. I go through the presentation. I invite. I don't present, I invite. I let a tool, right? This is a tool, like a marketing tool, do the presentation. So I invite someone to see a presentation. When the tool is on, I do the 3-step setup. I'm not going to get into all the tactics here, right? The tactics are super easy. This is the hardest thing about our business is not overcomplicating it. And then once they've seen a presentation, then I do my best to enroll them. I ask them an enrolling question. I go, awesome, isn't it? Do you want to partner up? And a lot of people tell me no to this day, like in Viago. I've been rejected a lot. A whole bunch of times I've been rejected because people are like, oh, I'm never going to do network marketing again. And I go, okay, cool. If things change, let me know. And I go on to the next one, right? I sort way more than I sell. So there's someone out there waiting for an opportunity. I just need to go find the person, right? And some people are like, not sure they can do it, right? If they're not sure they can do it, I get to stand on my leadership and say, listen, I know maybe you've never had success in network marketing before, but I promise you, if you lock arms with me, if you're coachable and teachable, I will not let you fail and we will go crush this together. Let's get you started, okay? And they go, okay. Why am I okay saying that? Because God made me all powerful. He made me an amazing leader in network marketing. And I've decided I'm going to step into what he gave me. And the same thing is true for you. And see, I heard Wayne Nugent say those things. He was my mentor, and he would say, if you lock arms with me, if you're coachable and teachable, I won't let you fail. And I was like, I could never say that. Why couldn't I say that? Because I didn't believe in myself enough and I didn't believe in God enough. And so when I decided that, I can feel the power of God within me, and he gave me the power to be a powerful leader, then I started saying those things. And no surprise, I became a powerful leader. I got to a full-time income. I had to act myself into into it. I didn't feel worthy enough because the thing that holds us back is what? I'm not enough. I didn't think I was enough, so I didn't act. And I finally decided I was enough. Like, who am I to decide I'm not enough? It's just if you think you're not enough, you have made that up. You just invented it. There's no truth to it. You just invented it. It's a lie from the pits of hell. So you got to start changing your thinking. When you're thinking I'm not enough to say these things, understand it's a lie. Get good at calling out your own lies. One of the things that makes me powerful is I understand that I lie all the time to myself. I hold on to my limitations. I still hold on to my limitations today, but I call that lie out and I decide to step up. Okay. Now, I don't get them everyone. Lots of people tell me no, but some people enroll. Now, the ones who enroll, I get to train them on how to invite. Like when it comes to duplication, I'm just going to tell you a couple secrets to duplication. When you get someone in, they say, yes, I'm in. I want you to be thinking in your mind. There's a 24-hour clock. And if I don't help them sponsor another person in the next 24 hours, I've lost them. Now, I haven't necessarily lost them, right? In most cases, I haven't lost them. But if I have that sense of urgency, when I sponsor a new person, I don't have that person until I help them get someone else. And the first 24 hours, I lose them. It creates a sense of urgency inside me to really lead, right? What do leaders do? Leaders do what? Leaders lead. Leadership is about getting someone to do something that they wouldn't without your influence. So leadership is influence, and they wouldn't do it if it weren't for your influence. So we have to step up and influence people. So I'm going to tell you this concept, like, is score in 24. Score in 24. I want to help them get a win, get a score in the first 24 hours. Okay, so how do I do that? Well, I'll just tell you the system that I've kind of gone through is whenever I get someone started, I'm going to ask them why they joined. Okay, it's super simple. It's not like a complicated thing. I go, all right, Aaron, welcome to the team, brother. I am super excited to be working with you. I want you to tell me this. Why did you join? What's the biggest reason why you joined? And he goes, well, to make more money. I go, money ends in a why. Why do you want the money? What do you really want in life? I've said this question so many times. What do you really want in life? Well, I want to quit my job. I go, cool. Next thing, write this down. What would that mean to you? What would that mean to you? So whatever the thing is that they say they want, I'm going to say, what would that mean to you? Well, it would mean that I get to spend more time with my wife. What would that mean to her, him, them? Okay. What would that mean to her? It would get, what would that mean to her? Well, it would strengthen our relationship. Awesome. What else? What else would that mean? Well, I'd get to spend more time with my kids. What would that mean to them if you guys got to spend more time together? So what I'm doing is I'm digging a little deeper. I'm creating meaning. See, we do things based on meaning, based on feelings. So I want to get a feeling from the thing that he or she says that she wants. And so if, Joseph joins and I say, Joseph, dude, I am so excited. Welcome to the team, brother. Tell me this. What's the biggest reason why you joined? What do you want to get out of this business? And he goes, money. Well, money ends in a why. Why do you want the money? Well, I want to be able to retire my wife. I go, cool. What would that mean to her? Well, man, her boss is a jerk, and she hates fighting traffic to and from work every day, and she's unfulfilled, and we just give her freedom. Awesome, dude. That is an amazing goal. What else? What else do you want to get out of this business? I'm going to ask usually two or three things, and they're going to tell me what they want. Like, I want my dream car. I go, what would that mean to you to have your dream car? Oh man, I've wanted it my whole life. I would be so freaking fired up. Awesome. What else do you want out of this business? I want to be able to see all seven wonders of the world. Cool. What would that mean to you? Man, it would make a life worth living. Awesome. Well, dude, your goal, those goals are now my goals. And you'll quit on those goals before I'll quit on those goals. Listen to my words here. Those goals are my goals. What you want is now what I want. Your goals for you are my goals for you. And you'll give up on those goals before I'll give up on those goals. So what am I doing? I'm showing influence. I'm showing strength. I'm showing like I'm aligned with you, right? So what I'm doing is I'm creating this level of like commitment. So I want, if it's James who just joined my business, I want James to be committed. How do I get James committed? Is I show commitment, okay? Your goals are my goals. You'll give up on those goals before I'll give up on those goals. So if you're serious, if you lock arms with me, we're going to make that shit happen, all right? Cool. Now, you willing to follow my coaching to make those goals a reality? Yes. Awesome. Who do you know that we can go show right now? Who do you know that we can go show right now? Now, I want you, everyone, to write that down. Who do you know that we can go show right now? Into action right away. Most people are like, okay, you're in. I'm going to send you an email with some details, all this stuff. Like, we're going to do a training on Thursday. Don't wait for the training. Get them into action right now. This is a question that you want to lock into your brain. Who do you know that we can go show right now? Who do you know that we can go show right now? Write this down. If you haven't written it down, put it in the chat. Who do you know that we can go show right now? And I can't tell you like how many times I've sponsored someone for someone brand new in their first day because I asked the question. If you don't ask the question, they're unlikely to do anything. Now, not everyone you ask the question to is going to go show someone else, but if you don't ask the question, they're almost certainly not going to. So sometimes they're like, oh, well, I want to do this first or that first, right? Now, it's why I like to say, are you willing to follow my coaching in order to make that goal a reality? Yes? Are you sure? Yes. Okay, who do you know that we can go show right now? All right. And then if they back off, you go, hey, I thought you were committed to those goals. I thought you were going to follow my coaching. Right. Now, I don't want to blow them out. Some people are just going to be slow, whatever. And my whole philosophy is I'm going to walk with the walkers, run with the runners, and sprint with the sprinters. But if they're not ready to take action right away, that may not be the person who's going to lead me to Black Diamond. So I better go show someone else. Right. I'm going to be there for him, or her, but that may not be the person. Right. I can't. Like, the challenge is we sponsor a few people and those few people aren't running and we're like, oh, it'll never work. No, it's just you need to find people that will run with you. You need to find people who have that same level of desire as you. And so today, more than anything, and so that's what I wanted to talk about, duplication. Just get them into action quickly. Get them to the trainings, right? Why I talk about the trainings on every presentation that I do is I want to make it important, right? They may not sign up for the training right away, but every presentation they're seeing the training. They're hearing about Dubai. They're hearing about Dallas, right? And so I make it a priority. I'm talking about it all the time. Hey, have you booked Dallas? Hey, have you booked Dubai yet? Right? And every training I'm doing, I talk about it. That's why I'm talking about it right now, why it's important, because I know leaders are made at the big events. This is where leaders are made. And we just have a couple minutes here before we got to go and start the presentation. So the last thing I want to say here is today it is, I believe, a calling for you to step up, is a challenge for you to step into the power that God gave you. When you were born, God gave you unlimited power when it comes to success in this world. And I just refuse to believe that he gave one man, one thing and one woman something different. No, I think we all have that same core capability. It's a matter of, are you willing to step into it? So stop putting other people on a pedestal, right? Learn from them, observe them, study them, but never worship them. Understand that inside you have everything it takes to be one of the greatest network marketers in the history of the world. You have everything it takes to become a Black Diamond. And you may have lots of excuses. And those, if you hold on to those excuses as truths, they will sabotage your success. If you hold on to excuses as truths, it will sabotage you. So my coaching for you is to turn those excuses into your power. The excuse that you have, that's the reason why you'll succeed massively, whatever it is. Why? Because you get to inspire other people who have that same excuse or worse. And so it's time to step up. It's time to step up into the man or woman that God designed you to be. And I refuse to believe that God designed you to be anything but all powerful. I refuse to believe that he designed you for anything less than victory. So it's time for you to live in victory, to go out and do the work, to prove to yourself and your family and everyone else that you have what it takes. And you do. So I believe in you. I love you. I'm so excited to be on this journey with you. Helen, thank you for putting this together. I'm going to end this and hop immediately over into the presentation. God bless you all. We'll see you here in 5 minutes.
Thanks much. Thank you so much. We are blessed to have you.
Thank you so much. See ya.
Thanks, Matt.